So yeah, so there's skill points. Every so often you'll get a stat point, and every level you get one. Well, okay, I haven't done the like cybernetics version yet, but for the mutated human, every level you'll get a mutation point, and you can either put that into a mutation you already have, which will make it better, or if you save up 4 points, you can purchase a new random mutation. If you like say I want to buy a new mutation, it'll give you a list of 3 and be like, all right, pick one. That's what you get.
I see. And are all the mutations like beneficial, or some of them just like odd that might work if you go that way for like a build?
So there are negative ones, but I've only seen them at character creation. So basically, when you're making the character, you can like pick a couple mutations to have, and like you have like 10 points or something, right? And like some stuff will cost up to 5, but you can give yourself a defect and that'll give you some more points back, right?
Okay, that's pretty neat.
For instance, the starting like default character has the amphibian defect, which says like you use 75% more water. And I think it like if at character creation you pick it, I think it gives you 2 more points to work with, something like that.
Okay, pretty neat.
Yeah. It's nice. Oh, egg.
No.
Well, now you've done it. Gone forever. But
forever.
Yeah. And those mutations can be any sort of thing. Well, I mean, there's a list, but like the most recent one I picked up was essentially firebolt. Like you fire off a firebolt every few turns. Like, huh? Sure.
That's neat. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, why not? There's some weird ones too. Like one the dragonfly started with, for some reason, is rapidly bounce around between different points in time and essentially make a clone of yourself.
Like you're moving real fast to get a clone, or is it just like blinking around?
It's you from a different point in time.
Oh.
It acts independently of you. I mean, it's
That's
like friendly to you, of course, and it doesn't last that long. It's like 20 turns or something, which I think sounds fine until you realize it's got like a 1,000 turn cooldown. But like,
that's pretty neat.
it is pretty neat. Like the biggest like hurdle for getting into the game is like that interface was completely alien to me when I first started. I was like, what am I looking at? How do I do anything? And the game really is just like, yeah, part of part of progressing in this game is actually just like understanding the systems and the UI. So good luck.
Now, is there like a main quest, a goal?
Yeah. So I have noticed that the same quests spawn in the world whenever you generate it.
Is the world the same, or is it generated like slightly differently?
There are some fixed locations, but otherwise, like whether or not a village is on that tile, or if it's like an enemy's lair, or if it's nothing, seems to be randomly generated with the world. Again, aside from some fixed locations.
Right.
But otherwise, completely random, seemingly.
Neat. What's your opinion on the game so far?
So far, it is... I have been actually wanting another game like this. The last time I played one like this was... Can I even remember the name of it? Hold on. Oh, jeez.
Go back here again.
Gotta go into my finished list and just scroll down. I'll find it eventually. I had a lot of fun with that one too, but I found a build that sort of broke that game in half as well. So
Par for the course, honestly.
yeah, but this one, interestingly enough, this one did not have any roguelike elements to it. Unlike Caves of Qud.
Right.
What was it called? It'd be really funny if I forgot to add it to my finished games list. Uh-oh.
Is there a tag that Caves of Qud has that like that one would likely have?
No.
It'll shorten your search.
No. No, it wouldn't. I mean, RPG would be the closest thing.
I mean,
There it is.
Of
Blade. I found it. It's of Blades and Tales.
Oh.
Which I played. How long ago was this? Almost a year ago, like 10 months ago. That was the last time I played it. So yeah, it's another game that's like that. Very, very similar. I don't know what sort of RPG you want to call that. It's sort of a tactical RPG, sort of a dungeon crawler. Those are two tags that it has. How about Caves? Does Caves have those too? Procedural generation. Turn-based combat. It has turn-based combat. So it's not quite the same. In terms of tags, but like those are very similar games.
Right.
Or like I said, NetHack, which is like the progenitor of all of these probably.
Yeah.
Or Rogue. Like literally. Like it's pulling from stuff like that.
Was Rogue before NetHack, or was NetHack, or were they around the same time?
Well, they're called roguelikes for a reason.
Well, I know
But
they're called
let me check.
roguelikes, but like NetHack could be early enough to be relatively.
NetHack is from 1987. And Rogue is from 1980.
Okay, yeah.
So Rogue
fair
predates NetHack by 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're fun. The UI and the layout tends to get me.
Yeah. However, Caves got this really. It got a UI overhaul, like right before the 1.0 release,
Oh, really?
which makes it pretty readable.
Yeah, because all the few times I've actually played through and done some Dwarf Fortress, I've had to use like a map pack until they did the Steam release, which has its own like built-in one.
Yeah, it has its own.
Which is all the tiles and all that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because these games used to just be, and I think NetHack still is, just straight up ASCII art.
Yeah. It's just ASCII.
Because
like, really
like
creative.
it was a choice. Yeah.
I mean, it was
like
like
a choice.
It was like the only choice you had, really.
Ragna, you good? You good,
This is
Ragna?
fine. Look at him.
Okay. Yep,
Look.
no, oh.
No, it's Alwyn's turn.
Interesting.
How did I manage that?
I don't know, but it's pretty great.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Also, the cat has to go back to his people. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, back when Rogue first came out, they didn't really have like graphics options. Not very many, if any, right?
I can look.
Because that's why it's in ASCII, is because one, everything had it, and two, it was the easiest thing to like.
No, it was also all ASCII.
Rogue was all ASCII? Yeah.
Rogue's all ASCII as well, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
rooms were dashes, the vertical line. Hallways were the pound symbol. I think your character is like a percent symbol. Or no, it's the at. It's the at symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the what do you want to call it? NetHack does that too. Items, I think, are either asterisks or percentages.
Yeah,
And
I was
like
thinking
that's
'cause
the UI is
there weren't any other graphics options, right?
not that
Or
I
if
know
there
of.
were, they weren't really.
Well, maybe they started getting.
Graphics, you're probably looking at MUDs, right?
Yeah, what does MUD stand for again?
Multi-user dungeon.
Multi-user dungeon.
They're basically the precursor to MMOs. Mostly just
Right.
chat rooms with like a shared world. It's like a rogue world, but like massive, and you had a bunch of people running around at the same time in it.
Right.
And then there was like either chat rooms for areas or like a one chat room for everything. Super cool. Just to think back at like how people used to like make games and on the only computers that were available at like MIT or something. I think I'm a little lost as to where this treasure is, but I think I might find it in the next zone. We just need to find the stairs again. I wonder how many more widgets I can buy.
Well, you can check.
I will consume my screen with widgets.
You can check to see how many more
That's right.
there are
Uh,
somewhere.
Your
Options.
There they are.
There they are. You got 7 more.
7 more. Oh, I don't know. I think I mentioned this to you. Ubisoft sort of did a bit of a merger with Tencent, slightly.
Oh yeah.
So the it seems like Ubisoft made a subsidiary, gave all of the IP to the subsidiary, and then had like 10 or like 25% is now owned by Tencent of that subsidiary. So they like, oh, get him, get gone.
Oh.
Basically, part of the basically they sort of sold their own IP to themselves / Tencent. Some of the IPs, which on one hand, Tencent is slowly becoming a Disney monopoly. On the other hand, a lot of Tencent IPs are actually genuinely pretty solid. So it's like, we shouldn't want it, but, you know, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Ubisoft didn't bungle everything so hard all of the time, they wouldn't have had to do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, can they help themselves? Not really. Have you seen much more of the controversy that game has caused?
Nope.
Okay. So to show how culturally not accurate, it's not the right word. How much they care about the cultural influence of people in like historical figures in Japanese culture. There is Nobunaga's sister who like 12 or 18 emperors of Japanese history have been related to and are descendant from, whose line still exists to this day. She is a in-game romantic option for Yasuke, which is not great because she was known historically to be like very, very faithful to her husbands in history. And so having her as like a romantic option to basically like I don't know in the game if it's like cheating on her husband or like just not being with who she's supposed to have been with. But that's something that is possible in the game. Don't you love it? I don't know. It's just, I don't know why they bothered. Like they really should have checked on these things a bit more before making very large faux pas like that in a game. It's unfortunate. But you know, I could bash Ubisoft or Pokemon, but I guess I could go back to doing some books bashing.
Oh no.
Books bashing, let's go. So I read in a genre where like games and like abilities being being able to be like measured in terms of numbers and or like levels and skills and stuff. That's generally pretty common in the genre that I've basically consumed all of possible that I found. There is a massive problem with the genre that, unless handled appropriately, can be very detrimental to a story. And unfortunately, as I've said, I've run out of things to read, and so I'm like pulling wood chips from the bottom of the barrel right now. And there was a story that seemed very, very interesting, but unfortunately was horrifically marred by the fact that it wanted to be game-like. Basically, a bunch of people from like a bunch of different planets got isekai'd to like a tutorial so that they can learn how to survive in a new world, because basically they were saved, and so they're like, okay, well now you need to understand how our world works. And a big component of this world is a system, a game system that like rules everyone's lives and stuff and quantifies how they are. The problem comes into when not having a skill / having low skill level actually is a detriment to the person. So like,
hey, remember your weapon.
I you know I should. Thank you. Basically, I'm dead now. Nice. So basically, if you don't have a sword skill or like a sword use skill, you're actively worse at using a sword than if you didn't have the system. Like, it actively hinders you. Your attacks do less damage and you're more clumsy with it. Because why not, right? Like,
well, I mean, to put it kind of bluntly, that's how sword skill works. Skill with a sword.
Yes, but the system actively then hinders you further than if you were just inept at using the weapon. It's, maybe I'm not describing it very well, but like if like you picked up a sword personally and used it, you would have a general idea as to how to use it. But like, if for some reason, in addition to your being, you know, maybe you kind of have an idea, you know, pointy end goes with the enemy.
Yeah.
In addition to that, having a like extra dimensional force making you more clumsy and like weakening your attacks. There is a difference between being unskilled and not properly using a weapon to that, in addition to actively having like fate itself screw with your use of it. And this story goes far off the deep end of that, and like the character is pigeonholed into not being able to use basically anything because he gets a crafter class, which he didn't get to select. And he can't use any weapons because he literally cannot get weapon skills. So he's like actively hurt by not being able to use any weapons because like the weapons would essentially fly out of his hands because he didn't equip the right weapon. It's like, oh, you know your character can't equip like warhammers because that's just, that character just doesn't use them. It's like that, but like on the like 10th level or like the 11th degree of that. It's like,
okay, I think I get it.
If you're gonna like, because the way the author wants to use it is to put limits on the character so that the character has to then like become a crafter and then use like their wits and things that they make in order to outsmart. There has to be a way to go these directions. Must be forgetting.
Unless there's just nothing there.
I mean, it's possible, I suppose. But essentially, they just want the character to have to think outside the box in order to support themselves and to live in a hostile world, and that's great. Like that's a great concept. I like the idea of crafter fighters who like. Well, my particular favorite is the alchemist who makes bombs. Right,
of course.
Mad alchemist makes bombs, healing potions, is like a support character, and don't fight an alchemist in their lab because you will have very bad things happen to you. So there are ways to write a character who have these limitations. For instance, if you want to make a crafting character who's like really bad at fighting, like with a sword, well, just any weapon, but let's just go with the sword. You could have them focus on crafting to the point where they basically have no time to train, or like how some people can be described as having 2 left feet in like dancing. Like you could just make them like really bad at like have no, what's the word I'm looking for? No talent for the weapon, in addition to putting no time into it. And then they're just really bad at using a sword. And so they're like, well, I get a lot more effect and I feel a lot more comfortable using this thing that I made. So I'm just going to do that instead. That's a great, that's an interesting way to write a character. And then you have the way the character is like kind of obsessed with crafting because this character, say, is from Earth and there's no magic, but now there's magic. And so they're like, well, magic's really cool. What's all this weird crafting stuff? And so they can go into that world and then be like obsessed and then not train. And I feel like it would be such like a much more interesting character than, well, you can't use swords, so screw you. Like now you have to go and do.
I got you.
Do other things.
It's internal versus external reasons for the way it be.
Yeah. I must have missed the treasure. It's around here somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then they also have the cardinal sin of having a luck stat in a story where it's like a written story, not a game. Because in my opinion, luck stats are kind of stupid. Like, it's just literal Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, in a story where the outcome is predetermined. Yes.
Yeah, where the outcome is completely and solely determined by a single author. So like, there's only one or so instances of a luck stat being in a story like this that I can be sort of like accepting of.
Now, and it's before you do that, hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. What if the author actually rolled?
So that's one of them, actually. One of them is the author is actually just writing down like a D&D story, like they're doing a solo play. Or maybe D&D, maybe something else, right? But they're actually physically rolling dice, and they're like modifying rolls like that, and they're just going with that. And they don't change it, and they don't like fake rolls and whatever for the story. That is one way that luck actually, I think, would work well in a story. The other way is if there is a truly random, written into the world, thing that can be like happening. Like, so for instance, if you cleared a dungeon, and at the end of the dungeon, rewards would roll, and your luck stat would like maybe bump it rarity up one on occasion. Where
even still, if the outcome is predetermined, it's
the outcome
just
is
whatever the author
predetermined.
wants it to be.
It is not as great, but it is a lot better than I've seen luck stats in stories that like give a person a sixth sense to follow a direction, and the direction will lead them in either out of danger or to a treasure, or like avoid dangers, and it's like literally manifesting in the character as a way for them to go directionally. I've seen it be explained away as a pseudo rewriting of reality, where a character will have things or be able to.
This floor.
The one?
Oh, you have a chest radar. You know that thing that luck stat that's pointing you where you should be going.
Yeah. Luck stats in games are fine. In written literature and or other media, I don't think they're very like very good. But now that I know that it's on this floor, it's good. But essentially, like, I've seen it manifest as like reality is rewriting itself to favor a person, and then it's like, who has the higher luck stat to have reality be more favorable to them retroactively? Like that's a little silly. Like just write coincidences into the story. You don't need to come up with a silly way for your world to be what you wrote it to be. In my opinion, it's just honestly, it's a lazy way of hand waving what you could hand wave more simply and less destructive to the story and or world. Because there's a story, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it would be perfect for me to read because it's about Norse mythology and like a shield maiden.
Oh, like, yeah, I love Valhalla.
Valhalla, yeah. It's a perfect story for me personally, right? Like, it fits so ideally for me. But it does two cardinal sins. Active gods, which, you know, they're Norse gods, so, you know, I that's fine. But
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, if you make gods essentially what demigods are in most other stories, it's probably fine.
Yeah, but these are like the actual Norse gods doing silly things.
Right, but like they died all the time in Norse mythology.
Yeah. So the cardinal sin is active gods, which I can overlook because it's Norse mythology and I like Norse mythology. And they do die all the time. They do act slightly more human on average than like.
Do you already know you got those three?
I did.
How about these three?
Trying to recall how to open this door.
Oh, you have to hit all the things probably.
Well, I hit all the things.
Okay, you got those three. Did you get the three that are on the other side? Not over here. I know you got these ones.
Maybe not.
I meant like down.
Also,
also.
Yeah.
Did you need to not kill that guy with the 13th one?
That might. Oh, I didn't get this one.
No, you didn't get those three. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. So the cardinal sin of active gods, which I can overlook because there's Norse mythology, I like it, and the story was written so well. Like the characters are built up so well. I like them. They're
the chest.
Like they have great motivations. They are pushing themselves appropriately. You know, things are happening to them, and they're upset about it, and they're reacting well. Like it's very well written. But the other cardinal sin is luck / Deus Ex Machinas. Basically,
beasts.
Yeah. Oh, my cat's a lion now. Sweet.
That's. Did you not notice the other two when they hit level 10?
No.
Or 9? You missed it. Go equip your dog, real quick.
Look at him real quick. Oh, he's a big dog now. I see.
Yeah, he's a hellhound. And what's the is the chicken just a yeah,
It's
big
just
chicken.
a chicken with a bag on his head.
Yeah.
He's got the noob hat, you know, and
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.